Hey everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to another episode of CoolCraft Season 5. In the last episode, I built this massive perimeter here for these 4 witch farms, which has had a little change happen since the last episode. And by little, I mean I completely added this collection system, some stuff to the AFK points, and yeah, it's actually been a little while, and just to illustrate that, all the storage that I put in down here is already filled up for the most part, apart from redstone blocks, which of course take a while to accumulate, although there are a fair few of them here. In this episode, I am going to be switching gears back over here to the Nether to build a gold farm. Now, this gold farm was essentially, I passed the spot, I'm thinking of building it. Now, this gold farm was originally designed by Ilmango in a way. Specifically, he designed it in one of his recent SciCraft episodes. However, he did not release the world download, so I've essentially just spent a few hours reverse engineering it from his video. And based off the rates I've been getting out of it, it does not disappoint with its design. So I've started to bring over some of the resources that are going to be necessary to build this, and this is not all the resources right here. This is just 2 different materials that I had the shulker boxes to carry over here at the moment. So yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a beast. Of course, for this project, I'm going to need a few colors of wool, which I don't actually have, which means I'm going to need to come over here to Jaredical's wool shop, where I'm forced to buy whole shulker boxes of wool for the few stacks that I need. I mean, at least I guess those only a diamond each, but the shop is usually broken, so I have gathered most of the remaining materials for this farm now. That is excluding one unstackable resource, which is just going to take up a lot of storage space. But this here is almost the entire rest of the resources that I need for this project. And this here is 2 resources. Yeah, that's a big difference. But anyhow, yeah, I'm gonna go now collect that other resource. Alright, now that I got everything here, including all my shulker boxes, which will surely be essential in building this, let's get into a time-lapse of building just the spawning platforms now, as I predict that's going to take a while. Spawning platforms have been installed, and this took a while. I don't know, I think it took a bit longer than expected, but yeah. Although there's not actually much technical stuff built for this farm yet, I'm gonna go over how this works so I don't have to do that later in this video. So yeah, let's do a bit of that. Start off with, all these floors are made out of magma blocks so that only zombified piglins can spawn here. That way we don't get any normal piglins which won't obey the rules of our farms. Then there's a ton of turtle eggs out front of these farms, which the piglins will pretty quickly find after spawning and start pathfinding towards. Now there's one at the end of every single row here, so they will find it and start pathfinding directly to it very quickly. Now, because there are trap doors in between these eggs and the piglins, and they're opened, they think that they can just walk straight across this gap to these eggs. However, clearly that's not the case, as they will just fall down to here, where there is powdered snow for them to land on, of course with carpets. Therefore, they don't take any fall damage. This then will help prepare them to be picked up by the next section of the farm, which we're going to go build now. Although, well, we're going to build the entire rest of the farm that goes in the center. And I did not mean to build that shape there. It's just all the white stained glass I have to pick for this little bit. So yeah, I guess we can get into another time lapse of actually building the inside bits, which actually might take a while. Okay, sorry if the last clip audio was, or the last clip where I was actually talking had terrible audio. Yeah, anyhow. This farm is finished, and yeah, it took a little while, but, you know, I think it's gonna go well. Now, I do have to do a little bit more, actually, like, I guess, loading of the farm. I have to load in a ton of minecarts, because each of these chests in the corners needs to be fully loaded with minecarts. And then a whole bunch of these droppers and shit down here also need to be loaded with minecarts and stuff. But besides that, it's mostly done. Obviously, I guess I have to like do the sorting system here, and I guess place in this bucket of lava, which I'm too scared to do right now. Besides that, yeah, this is basically done. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then we're given a test. Has been put in, the storage system has been configured, and before we go and kick this farm into action, I'm going to do two things. First of all, I'm going to talk about the storage system a little bit here. So there are 12 hoppers here, or 12 item sorters, all dedicated to gold nuggets. And all of them were necessary to make sure it could actually pick up all the items. And at that, it only barely clears them all before the next round of items comes, which is great. But then the other thing I wanted to talk about is how this thing actually works. Actually, I'm just going to do this because, yeah. So what happens in this farm is we spawn a bunch of minecarts here from these dispensers. They go along next to where the piglins are standing here, picking them up as they go. Then they get whisked up here where they are ejected into the killing chambers on either side here. Then the minecarts return back to where they started here. They get popped in these cauldrons, which then feed them back into this system. Of course, the system is then mirrored for all the copied, I guess, for all the spawning platform banks. The way we actually kill them is we're actually hitting this armor stand, not the piglins around it, but this armor stand here, which I have a dispenser here in case it breaks, so I can place them down again, because slabs don't like to place armor stands in this sort of configuration. Anyhow, so using Sweeping Edge, we kill them. Their drops will fall here. And here, obviously, we'll pick some of them up until our inventory fills up, but that's not a big concern because we then have the collection system down here, which is sending hopper minecarts here, spawning them rapidly, which then pick up as many items as possible before getting popped over here. The items will land here on top of this power rail, and the minecarts will land inside of these hoppers to be recycled. After this hopper clock here, triggers, it will briefly stop the spawning of minecarts and retract these trapdoors and rails here to let the items fall down to here, where they will then be pushed onto this block here and then sent through the item sorting system. Currently it's just compacting everything to nuggets with the auto crafting system we have on the server, and just everything into ingots, not nuggets, and then stores them in these chests. Later in this episode, we're actually going to build a piglin bartering farm nearby to actually make use of this, but I think this thing will be generating gold quicker than we'll be able to use it. So anyhow, yeah, without any further ado, let's actually give this thing a bit of a test off camera, because of course something's probably going to go wrong. Okay, so I have a problem already. The farm itself seems to be working, but I have fire aspect on this sword. I mean, this is an insane sword, right? But yeah, the fire aspect just kind of kills the armor stand. And it doesn't drop. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go make a sword specifically for this farm then. That's gonna be interesting. Alright, I ran the farm for 10 minutes and got this many gold ingots at the output, so yeah, I think that's going to be more than sufficient enough to power the piglin bartering setup that I'm going to install. Okay, so I just got, I mean, that's kind of a lie. Anyhow, I'm back from attempting to AFK overnight. However, I was not successful in the slightest, as you can tell by the fact that there are piglins piled up on this one track here. I'm not actually sure why, but yeah, it broke, and by judging by the loot that I got, I was only AFK, and the fact that I'm only at 200 levels, I was only AFK for like 20 minutes. And due to the fact that all the mob cap apparently is now on this track, yeah, I didn't get any XP, which means the sword I was using couldn't be repaired, which means it's broken. But that's not necessarily an issue. I could go get another one pretty easily. Another advantage to not using my main sword. But now I gotta figure this out. And they're also still angry with me, so I don't know if I'm gonna have to kill them or what. But oh my gosh, Mojang is having some server issues, so logging into the server is a little bit challenging at the moment. Anyhow, I've got some materials for the bartering setup, so let's get building that. Although I'm not time-lapsing this one because I've already done a couple time-lapses in this video. The storage system has been constructed, and it is kind of weird that I'm constructing the storage system first, but hey, I guess that's what I'm doing. Taking a quick break from the bartering farm, after reviewing some replays and breaking another sword, I have figured out why this farm is breaking occasionally during AFK. You see, during the process of reverse engineering this, I had to make sure that the minecart dispensers here were, well, able to be in the correct position so that the tracks weren't running into all this. And so in order for the minecarts to actually not run into blocks, I had to not have a block here and here so that the minecarts could flow. Now, for the most part, that isn't an issue. However, that is an issue in one particular situation. When a baby zombie piglin spawns here, run towards the egg, and then ends up on this rail here, which would then interfere with the minecarts, desynchronizing them, which then causes them to all eventually bunch up and completely break. So, what I'm going to do to fix it, I think I'm going to try to disable this row here on all of them, just like put a pillar of glass blocks right here, and hopefully that will prevent any more issues from happening. Anyhow, back to your regularly scheduled bartering farm. The upper portion of the bartering setup has been completed here. And yes, this is much larger than the ones I built in the past 3 seasons, I believe. The last 2 seasons since I've started building this. Although, yeah, I haven't actually gotten any of the piglins yet. I have the wrong type of piglin here, but yeah, now I'm going to have to go and get those, which is going to be a little annoying, but I have a plan for how I can try to get them a little bit better. It's going to require a lot of effort, though. Alright, my setup for hopefully capturing all the piglins has been created here, so as you can see, I have a platform for them to spawn on, and it's got a whole bunch of rails going on it. The idea here is there will be a minecart traveling along this. When something spawns, the minecart will pick it up it'll then be detected by this tripwire here and sent down into this system here, which will hold 18, I believe, mobs, and then I can just come down here, kill the ones that are holding ranged weapons or are not the piglins that I want. And then once I got 18 of the ones I actually do want, I can start sending them up there. So yeah, now I gotta go create an AFK platform up there so I can actually let stuff spawn here. But yeah, after a while, all the piglins have been put in, and I left them in minecarts this time because, well, quite frankly, they don't need to be out of the minecarts, and this was easier. Anyhow, now I gotta fill in the item sorters down there. And then I'll start bringing all the gold over. Oh, all the gold. So much gold. And it's finished. I have a long hopper line here going all the way from the storage of the output of the gold farm here down into the bartering farm's input, and I think these hoppers have more storage combined than those chests, which are not loaded in up there. Anyhow, I've checked all the stuff, filled in all the droppers and whatnot that need filling in, and this thing is now ready to go. So, let's pull this lever and get some bartering going. Also, Super Tyler Man just generously donated this sign here, so yeah, that's the thing. Alright, we are finally out of the nether. We're hopefully done with that for today's episode. Which, yeah, next up, we're going to build a shop to sell the stuff that we got from the last episode. So, yeah, I've gotten a design, and I think building it around here somewhere, like all my other shops, is probably a good idea. So, let's get doing that. Alright, I've dug out a bit of land here. I'm gonna have to do some terraforming after I finish building this, but yeah. Time to actually erect the shop in this area. And the build for the shop is done. This thing looks interesting. I mean, I am aware that it is, yeah, I'm aware it can look quite hideous, but, you know, you can kind of understand what it is, right? Anyway, I haven't done anything on the interior yet here, but, yeah, I'm gonna need to chests and signs and all that sort of stuff, as well as actually get the stock. Alright, I've moved in the stock and the prices. So we got the glowstone here, which is 1 diamond for 3 stacks, and the redstone here, which is 1 diamond per stack of redstone blocks. And I don't really think there's anything else from the gold farm that I really would want to be selling here. So yeah, that is the, I guess this shop completed, but I've still got to do a little bit of terraforming around it. And the landscaping for the shop here has been finished. I didn't do too much. I did a little out the front here, but then around the side and back here, I was just like, straight, flat, that's it, I don't need anything else. I also put some beacons in here so that, yeah, beacon, because it turns out that there's a bit of space in the shop that I'm not currently using. So, yeah, anyhow, that is, in fact, this shop done. And after that, I'm going to have to say thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out my game, which I promise I'm producing an update for soon. TM, which is linked in the description. And I will see you all in the next episode of Coolcraft Season 5. Bye.